I'm expanding my sheep rotation this year to 2 fields. One was hay and one was brush. Brush hog once a year. The hayfield is clearly going to take longer. The hayfield is clearly going to take longer to rebuild. Yeah, with sheep, the sheep are gonna love the brush hog paddock just because there's gonna be a lot more like forbs and woody species. But I mean, if the hayfield was, it was hayed and it wasn't, fertilized, then yeah, it's probably gonna take a little while to, build that fertility back up. But
running sheep on it's gonna help.
It's just like anything. You gotta start, and it keep at it. It'll
if you keep
heal
down
itself.
if you keep down the right path,
Mm-hmm.
it'll start to turn around.
Yep.
Everything takes time. That's the other thing with this is like people get all bent out of shape because they're not seeing stuff happen fast enough. Like they're expecting in 2 or 3 years my place is gonna look like Green Pastures Farm, and it's like maybe, but you need to be starting from a pretty darn good spot in order to get to from 2 to 3 years to get to here. If you're starting from completely overgrazed, like crop fields, anything like that, hay fields, whatever, it's just going to take time. Like it takes time to get time, and you shouldn't be stressed about the fact that you're not seeing results. Because it's a slow process.
It just makes me think of, there's places on, this farm, like the Runway.
Yeah.
His dad used to,
Greg's
dad used to moldboard plow and plant corn on this runway, we call it. It's a long strip of land, and now it's like once like August hits, about lance leaf ragweed is about all you can find in that in the pasture. So it's like,
but it's growing lance leaf ragweed.
It's growing something, and there's little bits of a little bit of orchard grass or some what else is there? Some love grass maybe or something.
Maybe a little bit of fescue.
Now that it's cooler season, there's definitely fescue.
But in the summer.
But it's like even Greg is still in that process of turning it around, and he's seen it turn. It started in his time that he's done this, but I mean, there's just so much potential for where it could go.
Yep.
You think of like even like when the Indians were around or whatever, like before.
Yep. Before white settlers.
Before white men. Or like when like the like Lewis and Clark or other explorers were going into the Midwest and even farther, they would write stories of how they could tie the grass above their saddle while they're sitting on the horse. And that was like big blue stem or Indian grass.
We have some of it that's 7.5 feet tall.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, to think like it would just be covevered in big blue, like just thick. Oh.
Yeah.
And like that's what it was, and then with modern, or not modern, but industrial or very simplistic agriculture mindsets.
Yeah, exactly.
It has deteriorated it, but it can grow to that stage again.
It just
takes the right management and time.
You just got to get the cycles. You got to get those natural cycles that gave way to that grass, to that specific ecosystem. You just got to get them rolling again. Mm-hmm. And once they start rolling and cycling, you just have to keep making sure that cycle is in the correct parameters, and if you can just maintain the correct parameters for those cycles to operate, it's going to heal itself.
What was it you said the one time? It's like this big wheel or whatever.
Yeah.
You spinning, and you get it going, and then you just like make sure.
It's like a big bicycle wheel.
Yeah.
Spinning around, and like once you get it going with your initial effort, all you got to do is just tap it. Just make sure you tap it every once in a while to keep it spinning and keep it at speed. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be like grabbing it and trying to throw it again, because you'll bring it to a complete stop. You just have to keep, once you get it going, which takes some effort, you just got to keep tapping at it, and it'll just keep spinning and keep spinning and keep spinning, and the results are, fields full of big blue stem and incredible grazing and building topsoil, and it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, gets you excited.